I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
That's Booby.
And Jalpy and Ghosty.
And Benji.
Oh, this is Benji.
The big
Actually,
homie.
yes. His last name is Hewitt. Benji Hewitt. He said we can even say his last name.
Wow.
So don't worry.
Wow. We just doxed the hell out of this guy.
So he's all the way from Berkeley, California.
And his social security number.
Yep. And this is how much he has in his account.
Yeah.
So we went to the Slipknot concert over this past year. Well, 2019. We're now in a new year. And we got like all this like special little gear and stuff, and so we did a thing where people had to guess Vinny's favorite Slipknot people, like in number.
Right.
And so Benji won. Actually, so did Leah.
Yeah.
Leah of the Village.
Yeah.
She also won.
Of course.
Benji won,
Shout
and he
out to
sent,
Leah.
here's this picture of him with the gear that he got from us. So, oh, and it was his birthday recently, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Benji. Happy birthday to you.
Sweet, man. Guy made out in the deal. We should do another one of those like Easter egg thingies in the videos.
We should.
We got a lot of stuff coming up.
We do. We have to.
People are gonna wanna get their hands on. So
I'm sure.
For sure. All right. By the way, shout out to Zork, the winner of
Vingo.
She won like 6 months ago.
Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, fam, I'll get you a shirt. Send me an email. But good old story got there and we got her a shirt. So mashallah tabarak.
Teamwork.
Shout out to Zork.
Makes the dream work.
For time and topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vinny and Sorry. And you know, there you go. We had a fireside a couple days ago.
Yep.
Went about 2.5 hours long. We're just hanging out talking. Something always happens at a fireside, either a song review or a shirt or something.
That's when the shirt went out.
That's when the shirts go out. Yeah, especially if somebody wins Vingo, is what it's called? Vingo?
Bingo.
All right.
No.
I think I had a shirt too that I was... Anyway, this is from the We Are Not Your Kind record. Let's do it.
It's Orphan. Ready?
Orphan.
Go. Are you hearing anything? Oh.
We're good.
gosh, I was still listening to that at the gym tomorrow.
Yikes.
Oh my word.
That you're a big Slipknot fan.
I am a huge Slipknot fan. I'm like Slipknot and Pain of Salvation. I think that's, and I like Pantera too, though.
We haven't listened to Pantera.
We haven't.
What's
we
up, dog?
Back. But yeah, oh man, I am a huge Slipknot fan.
Alright.
Do you have to be a certain age and then you can't?
No. You're a baby fly. You're a baby fly. You're a maggot.
The beginning reminded me of you.
What?
I wept when I realized there were no more demons left to conquer. You're like that. Your life is like relatively like predictable right now. So you're like, I'm gonna go on the Atkins diet, keto. And it also reminded me of Alexander the Great, because basically he was like that, right?
Yeah, this is obviously a reference to Alexander the Great, who famously or legendarily, however you want to put it, wept when he realized that there are no other places to conquer, which creates an interesting conundrum, which is all your life you get all these challenges and such that you want to overcome and all the rest of it, but then it's like the fight and the struggle to overcome almost becomes the purpose itself. And so then when you lose the enemy to overcome, now all of a sudden you don't have a purpose, which brings people a lot of confusion. And I think that probably if you're thinking about being the young, we saw an interview with him with that psychologist guy.
Yep.
The guy's kind of,
that black guy, right?
Yeah, he's kind of new agey.
Yeah.
Some of it is snake oil, I think, but but whatever it is, these celebrities believe that he's onto something, and so Corey kind of let it all. So people talk about their inner child and all this, and I think it's like, he's kind of stuck because he's never really reconciled himself with his inner child, hence the term orphan, but at the same time, he's conquered the world. I mean, you're at the pinnacle of everything. You're Corey Taylor, man.
Yeah.
You're the biggest band in the world. I know there's people, Slipknot's not the biggest band in the world. Man, you know what I'm talking about, man. These guys have been doing this for 20 years strong, and they're still selling out shows. Like, you're at the top of the world, but at the same time, it's like, well, I still feel the inner child stuff. I still feel the rage. So, but it's not justified anymore because I'm big and rich.
Yep.
So I wept when I realized there are no more demons left to conquer. An opportunity to show my feelings, but skin so thick you'd swear it was armor. A penitentiary that only lets the oxygen out. I wasn't ready for a version of the truth to get out. I'm getting desperate. I wouldn't want to fester in another bad dream. Which, again, bad dream of being a rock star, yada yada yada. So he's kind of like locked up in himself. Like I think what he's saying is like his inner child, his inner orphan.
That's so obvious. How did I not know that? A penitentiary that only lets the oxygen out? Right. Wait, no. Huh? Explain that again, because actually I was thinking we don't actually let oxygen out. We take oxygen in.
Well, if you think about it this way, he's a singer.
Yep.
And he's talking about an opportunity to show my feelings. And what I'm saying is, I think he still feels like the inner child or the inner orphan is still locked inside of him. Yeah. So when he's breathing, he's not able to express his feelings. The only thing that's coming out is oxygen when he's speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I see what he's saying there.
Yeah, we talked about, and a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? You've been expressing yourself for the last 20 years, yada, yada, yada. But as I've said, we talked about this in the Bible Boogie. We were talking about prayer and things like that, where it doesn't matter, even if you communicate the words properly, like if your hand was like on a stove and you got a 3rd-degree burn, and you say to your friends, this hurts like hell. Like, you've correctly stated the issue. I'm hurt, my hand hurts. And your friend goes, oh, it might get you ice, but your friend doesn't know the depth to which
you're in pain.
And so if you only rely, and so like the point that I made was in prayer, God is the only one that actually knows what you actually mean when you say my hands hurt after a 3rd-degree burn. Your friend does not. The words that you use puts you in the stratosphere of meaning, but it doesn't locate. It's like the words put you in the galaxy, puts you in the Milky Way, but it doesn't land you at the exact GPS coordinate of what you actually mean.
Right, and I think that it can't. I think that there's a sense in which, you know, we could actually understand better the third-degree burn on the hand, because I think if we all get a third-degree burn, it would basically feel probably, you know, somewhere close to the same. But somebody can go through, you know, my experience of divorce, or your experience of a divorce, or somebody else's experience. Everybody's is going to be different, or, you know, child abuse, or whatever, you know, thing that the person is talking about, because we're made up so differently, and we have so many different experiences as we grow, and there's so many lessons that we've learned and been taught different things, and I think that affects how you feel about certain things. So one person can feel it one way while another. Where a third-degree burn is a third-degree burn, I think pretty much people are going to feel that pretty close to the same way, but like emotional things and...
Well, most people haven't experienced a third-degree burn.
Right, but if you got a third-degree burn, somebody that had a third-degree burn could be like, I know what that's like.
Well, I think that's very instructive, though, because, like you said, like we've both been through divorces, but they're completely different.
Yeah.
So there's a sense, like I said, I can say, I know how you feel, and that puts me in the galaxy, but I don't know how you feel.
No.
And vice versa.
Right.
You know, and that's why I use the third-degree burn analogy, because it's like, it's one of those things where most people are not going to say, I know how you feel, because they don't. And I think that's like one of the hardest things to reconcile with as a human being, is the desire to be known, especially the desire to be known in your pain, and you know that nobody knows, but you're going to express yourself anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough, too, when you write a song, and the reason that you're writing the song is to express a certain level of pain that you have or something that you've experienced, and then somebody takes that, and instead of understanding you, they make it about themselves. Like, there's going to be a feeling of feeling a little bit more lost and a little bit more misunderstood in that sort of situation.
Well, it's interesting, because to talk about that, I'm not the same. You never had a clue or knew my name. You want to know the story, take my pain, to your point. You know, like,
yep.
I'm ready to lie as heard. I'm not the same. So, which, you know.
He says, you really want to know who the fuck I am? I'm the orphan.
The one who killed your world. Oh. There was one thing that said, if the village will not embrace the child, he will set it on fire to feel its warmth.
Ooh.
Which is pretty, I think it's an African proverb or something like that, but it's obviously a very applicable thing, and that might be probably the illusion here. I'm the orphan, the one who killed your world.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
You know, it doesn't really matter how old you get. And, you know, the whole inner child stuff is kind of, again, people think it's, I wish we could come up with a better term or whatever, but people go, oh, that's just psychobabble, yada, yada, yada. But I think a lot of us are like that, you know. I think, you know, obviously for me, I was able to avail myself of psychotherapists and things like that, and between that and my relationship with God, I was able to sort of reconcile my sort of inner child. And I used to call myself an orphan a lot, because I was separated from my mom. She was, when I was a baby, she was in America. I was with my dad in Jamaica. I had this perception, it's probably not true, that my dad loved my older brother more than me. So I had the perception, and this was probably true, that no, it wasn't, not really, that my mom loved my little brother more than me. So I used to say, like, oh, I'm an orphan, da 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 da. And so I had to kind of reconcile that to myself, as far as, you know, how that worked with God and all that and the rest of it. And I'm very, very grateful that, you know, when I always say, like, yeah, I feel like God loves me more than everybody, you know, and that was directly related to that period of my life where I was really, really dealing with that and dealing with those feelings. And then of course you become an adult yourself, and you have kids yourself, and then you go, oh, okay, this is okay. You know what I mean? And I look back at my life and I go, well, there are times with my mom where a person could have very much made the argument that I was her favorite. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it that way because we fought so much, but on the other side, like, she did things for me that she didn't do for any of them.
The kids always think that I'm, like, BSing them when I tell them, like, I don't have a favorite. It's just, like, I love you all differently. Like, you're all my favorite in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that I have with one that I don't have with the other, and, you know, vice versa. But, but I do feel like different things for each of them, but all of them, I love them all, and I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The chorus is interesting because you wonder who he's talking to or about, you know? I mean, a very, very cynical person could say he's talking about the fans. You know what I mean? That would be the most cynical interpretation. You never had a clue or knew my name. I'm not the same. You know, you want to know the story, take my pain, which is...
But you never had intent to keep my blame.
Well, the first half of this is kind of a weird... It's a strange thing about being a metal... Or a music person in general. And here's what I mean by that. Like, especially, like, rap music, for example. A lot of the rap that I was in, that I came up with, was about the struggle, growing up in the hood, gang violence, etc., drug dealing, how horrible it is, cops are after you, you don't want to go to school, yeah, it's just grind. And then, when the guy makes it out of the grind, and he starts talking about, I'm rich, then all the folks back in the hood are like, man, screw that guy, man, he's a sellout.
Right.
It's like, well, wait a second. If he's still making records 5 records later about being in the hood and gunfights and selling drugs to get along, like, this brother didn't make it then. He should be pitied.
Right.
But you want him to be, and it's the same thing with metal to some degree. Like, you know, there are whole classes of metalheads who want the person to stay in the same spot psychologically, mentally, spiritually, and be miserable because apparently that misery creates awesome rock and music. Yep. And so it's I remember one story I heard with Jonathan Davis where he was shooting, you know, creating the I think it was the self-titled Korn record or something like, not the self-titled Korn record, but they worked with Ross Robinson again. Yeah. And Ross Robinson is famous for, like, poking people psychologically or whatever, and, like, I think Ross made him get off of his meds and stuff so that he would be, you know, crazy Jonathan. So it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe he's saying I'm not the same, like, I'm not as upset and angry as I was before, or you never had a clue or knew my name. Like, you don't really know anything about me. You want to know the story, take the pain. Okay, I'm ready, the lie is heard. Like, if I keep making the same music and the same type of lyrics that I made on the first Slipknot record, it would be a lie because I'm not there. And it's like, do you really care about the person then? If you want them to be that miserable so that you can feel good that your band is making, you know, miserable hardcore music and that they never sold out? Or
maybe it's that you have not progressed as a person. Right. And so, you know, you want them to stay in the same cesspool that you're in.
Right. So there's a whole, like, on the one hand, he's internally still the orphan, but on the other hand, it seems like he's trying to reconcile himself to himself. Yeah. But then you've got all these other people trying to, you know, profit off of your misery. And I don't mean profit in a monetary sense, just, you know.
No. Look at the first two.
Keeping up appearances with acts of attrition, it doesn't matter because I know you'll never listen. Before you knew it when you saw it, now you say you never knew it. It was all a big conspiracy. We come together with the hand. So what is that saying to you?
No, the keeping up appearances part.
Yeah.
You know, to me it was just, you know, like, if you're going along with that same thing, it's, well, acts of attrition. Attrition is stuff that actually makes it gets worse, right? Attrition?
Well, contrition, attrition, it's basically, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that type of thing. So, like, you're being apologetic, but you don't really mean it inside. Keeping up appearances with acts of attrition. It doesn't matter because I know you'll never listen. You know, they're just people that are never going to be satisfied no matter what. I think this song is, like, about not being seen or accepted for who you really are, but people looking at you through a certain prism, and there's nothing you can do to change it, and everything that you do validates their already negative presupposition of you. Yeah. And if you don't have a very good understanding of self, man, that stuff can get to you. You know, and that's why I'm glad for all the conflicts I had growing up, particularly with my mom, because I wanted so badly to get my mom's approval, and I realized I was not going to be able to do that consistently, and so I kind of had to create my own sort of internal code. And, you know, at the time it was very painful, but I feel like that's one of the best lessons my mom gave me, because, you know, I just, you know, if I feel right within myself, then I don't care. I genuinely do not care. Now, that can be dangerous, right? And so that's why I have you. So I kind of let the thing in a little bit. I'm like, well, it's sorry, and let's see what she says. But other than that, I don't really have, you know what I mean? So the whole keeping up appearance thing and all that, it was seemed to be a big thing with you growing up.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
We always had to do that, keep up the appearances. So we were that family.
There's still a part of me dying.
That's the part I liked. There's still a part of me that's dying in a dumpster. The one who rose is a motherfucking monster.
Which he said in that interview, he OD'd on drugs or whatever, and his friends threw him in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And he woke up in a dumpster all disoriented or whatever. Which is a pretty... That must have happened 25...
Not sure if you can call those people friends, but...
That must have happened... Yeah, didn't he say they thought he had OD'd and died, and so they put him in a dumpster? Like... That must have been a pretty seminal moment for him, man. Like,
yeah.
And, you know, like, wow. Like, A, I could have died. B, all these people that I thought were my friends threw me in a dumpster, which goes along with the song. Like, did you really see me? Did you really love me? Who can you really trust? You know, those are pretty burning questions. And, of course, when you end up in a dumpster, you go, yeah, who can I trust? But when you become a giant rock star, that question is still there.
Absolutely.
The one who rose is a monster. So it's sort of like, you know, people always say, like, whatever kills you, doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. And what people don't realize is that that's not always necessarily a positive thing.
Well.
You know, because, you know, the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, gets stronger. But if you're a destructive person who's now become stronger, that's not a good thing.
Right.
So,
exactly.
You know, people throw out these phrases, and it's like, yeah, he came out a monster, and monsters are generally more powerful than regular human beings. But if you are a damaged person who is now more powerful as a damaged person, and you're not able to, you know, that's why he talks about I killed your whole world. You know, so like now you've got the power to wreak havoc on the planet. Because you survived that thing.
Yep.
So I think people need to, you know, like really rethink that whole concept. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then you got to say to yourself, okay, but am I a person worthy to be stronger?
Yeah, and I think you have to define what strength is, because sometimes people can, you know, make it through a situation, but they're more bitter and angry than they ever were. And bitterness and anger feels like strength sometimes.
Yep.
And it's not. It's really not. It will literally destroy your life.
Well, I mean, people, we've seen people become extremely obsessed with people. Like, there's people on this planet, like, obsessed with me, not in a good way.
Right.
Get yourself some help, sir.
Yeah.
You know, like, honestly,
I know.
It's the craziest thing in the world. You know, like, I saw this meme one time, and it's so important. It was like, don't get revenge. You know, people say the best, you know, revenge is having a successful life or whatever. And the meme says, don't get revenge, just be happy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to get revenge on somebody, that means you're giving them the time of day. Like, man, just live your life. Forget about those people. And you will literally forget about them. My life is just so full, and we just have other stuff to do that a lot of times I forget people are around. Yeah,
sometimes when I bum across stuff, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, this motherfucker's still in the same fucking situation.
Well, I was messaging somebody because, well, we were so terrible as kids. We had this friend, and like, I was super skinny, you know, when I was a teenager, and we had this friend that was not super skinny. She wasn't fat either. She was just kind of had a little weight to her. And so my sister and I would like squeeze the back of her arm because it was such a squishy, nice feeling, but it was so rude and insulting, and I didn't realize how rude and insulting it was. But now that I have children, they've now done it to me, and it's very frustrating. I'm like, stop, why are you being so rude? Leave me alone. And then I was thinking about this girl, I'm like, wow. And so anyway, I went on Facebook, and I messaged her, and I was like, listen, I cannot believe we used to do that to you, and you were so insulted, and we never even realized how insulting it was, and I apologize. And but when I went into that message, I had scrolled up, I was like, wait, I had talked to her on Facebook. I didn't even realize I had had a conversation like years ago with her, and she was like, So all these people are saying all these things about you on Facebook. I screenshotted the stuff. Do you want me to send it to you? And then I was like, this was years ago, and I responded back and I was like, no, I'm just staying out of it. Like, people are like obsessed with their lives and blah blah blah. So anyway, that's to that point that you can like completely forget. And then when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, there was this giant situation that I completely forgot about it. Well,
people are weird, man. Just live your life. Live your life, man. Good God.
Anyway, this is a 10 plus for me.
I've seen the future, and
this is unbelievable for me.
Simply burning. Yeah, I could go on and on with these lyrics. Lyrics are very, very well done.
Seriously, 10 for me. Like, the energy. What?
0.3. Well, the other thing is,
it was exciting to me.
It sounded similar to, they got this song called The Heretic End, which we actually did. And some of the riffage sounded a little bit similar, so they got a small dock for that. So 9.4. There you go. So
shout out to Benji.
Watch all. Then out.
Sorry out.
Gone.